This video is an educational analysis, critique, and therefore falls within the remit fair use under the copyright laws of the UK and United States. I recommend the viewer buy an original copy of the copyrighted work in support of the filmmakers and copyright holders.
Thank you.
You might as well set fire to your friends. But it ain't Alpha and Omega, it's just Nintendo and Sega.
This is for you, Ducky.
I'm a stone cold fox within a robotic box. I'm a Zodiac killer, rooftop sniper shooting romantic diamonds. A shotgun is a good substitute for mouthwash.
Get this thing moving! I know
Drone controllers eat their lunch on their desktops. Last night I dropped the rent at Woodstock, but I only saw a shadow. Daddy is a traitor. You guys need to wear your coat. Else you'll never get better. You best get to where you're going. Is a good substitute for mouthwash. Drone controllers eat their lunch in their desktops.
Get off my face! Can't you idiots do anything right?
And now, our feature presentation.
Live from Nolan's Garage in beautiful Highland Park, California, it's the Schrab Home Video Podcast. I am your Schrab troller, Abed Gaith, and let's bring him out here, the man of the hour, the host, Rob Schrab. And there he is with pants, shoes, and I thought he was going to have hair, but he's actually bald. And he did a lot of stuff. He was on Harmontown, Creep Show. He directed that. How about that? That's a good. Come on, let's give him that clap for Creep Show. Did you just knock over your mic? Yeah, Rob, you got to have a way to get behind that desk. Let me tell you.
I got to figure that out. Hey, hello, welcome to the very first episode of Schrab Home Video.
All right.
Is my thank you everybody off camera. Thank you. Is my mic destroyed? Okay. So Nolan, as we posted our very first clip on the show, there was already a copyright warning notice. Is that shutting down everything?
It's still threatening to shut it down, but we're still up.
Okay.
Say if it goes down, then we'll get another one up as soon as possible.
Well, yeah. So if for some reason like it cuts out or whatever, if you're watching this not Sunday or something like that, we'll just put up the episode without that clip. How about that? All right. Hey, Abed Gaith, ladies and gentlemen.
How you doing? How you doing, Rob?
How you doing?
Yeah. I mean, I can't complain. I could, but why? What's the point?
What would you complain about?
I just wish that. Well, I'm not going to go into it.
Why?
I wish people would be less panicky because that makes me panic.
About this coronavirus.
No, I think it's COVID-19.
It's not the coronavirus. It's COVID-19.
That's right. Corona's a beer.
You don't wash your hands, I hear.
I do wash my hands.
Okay.
Well, who are you talking to?
The hand washers.
I don't know who that is.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen at home, no idea what he's talking about.
What do you think about doing a podcast with me?
It's interesting. It's going to be fun.
Were you surprised?
Oh, when you asked me?
Yes.
Yes.
Why?
Very surprised. Well, no one asked me to do that kind of stuff.
Because you're kind of a train wreck.
I wouldn't say train wreck. I'm more of like a happy accident. It's like you're kind of glad that something exploded. And
what?
That was a weird way to put it. I think
Should we talk about that first clip?
Let's should
talk about that first clip, even though, okay, so we got a copyright flag like 2 seconds, maybe even less than 2 seconds.
It's probably a record.
Yeah, I maybe not. Well, the whole point of my podcast is what I wanted to do after I left Harmontown, and Harmontown left all of us. I was getting a lot of people asking me, do a podcast. We love hearing you talk about movies and things. And I'm like, do I want to be another guy doing another movie podcast? But what I wanted to do is show people, what I got excited about is showing people things that I was inspired by, things that made me think, oh, this is cool. You should check it out. And I wanted to show people that clip.
And it's from Short Time, starring Dabney Colman. And the director is, who's the director?
Here, let me get it up here. I'll get up all the information.
Max Headroom's in it. It has
Teri, Garr, Dabney Colman.
Barry Corbin from Northern Exposure. The astronaut guy.
It was made in 1990. Stars Dabney Colman, Teri Garr, and Matt Fewer, television's Max Headroom.
Right.
And it was directed by Gregg Champion. And even though it was released on Laserdisc and it was also released on VHS, but it never made it to DVD in this country. In the UK, you can get it Region 2 DVD or whatever, but this is a really great movie. It stars Dabney Colman is like this pencil pushing cop who is at a hospital and he's getting a checkup, and for some reason the doctor who's stoned, right?
No, I don't know if the doctor was stoned. No, it was the patient was stoned that he switched files with.
Switched files or whatever. And,
well, he was like,
and he
got smoke a joint in the waiting room.
Right. And he got like somebody else's medical records, and the medical records say you got 2 weeks to live. And so according to his life insurance policy, his family, his wife and son won't get the full amount unless he dies on duty as a police officer. So he goes from being like this pencil pushing, like kind of
normal every day. He's watching his weight.
Right. Into a badass cop. And the midpoint of the movie is one of the best car chases I've ever seen. That movie, that car chase in particular, is actually, I think, like a minute or two longer. I cut out a lot of it. And I put underneath it Shotgun Mouthwash by High Contrast, which is from the soundtrack
to Train Spotting 2.
Which is also a great movie. So you should check out all of that stuff. But if you can track down Short Time, get it. It's really, really fun.
I watched it on YouTube with Spanish subtitles, but I mean,
yeah, you could do that. But if there's a way you could buy like a VHS tape, or if you have an all-region DVD player, you can get it from like overseas or something.
Or if I mean, you can lend me your VHS.
I could lend you yours.
Yeah.
I'm talking
but I
about.
will put Corona.
But check it out. Actually, I don't like remakes, but I think it's the premise. It's strong enough they could probably, if you got the right actor to.
Who would be a good like modern day Dabney?
Well, we were
Coleman?
talking to Adam Scott would be kind of a cool.
He would be good
because he plays a very likable, like the character he did on Parks and Rec, but also he does badass stuff.
He's
too.
great. Like he reminds me of like in the era of Johnny Depp when he did what was that movie Out of Time?
Oh
Nick of Time.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that's sort of like a similar kind of thing that like Adam Scott can do. It's like he's like a really likable sort of comedian. He can be funny and an action star, which is hard.
Right.
Schwarzenegger couldn't do it.
He could not do it.
No, I mean he just couldn't get through those lines. He's watching, isn't he?
I'm wearing rubber gloves.
Because you don't want to touch me. That's
no,
why.
I don't want to touch you.
Right, but I don't have Corona though.
I'm not taking any chances.
I mean, I coughed when I got here.
You're as far away from me as legally possible.
It's like a horror movie. If I just went the slightest bit, can I get up? Slightest bit close to you, and you'll freak out.
Don't. The camera. Don't. Don't. I'm gonna start throwing things at you.
I know. I'm not gonna. I just wanted to do that.
All
I was
right.
planning to go closer.
Abed.
Yeah.
Seriously, what the fuck is wrong with you?
No, I mean, look, I'm not actually gonna touch you. It's just funny because it's like suspense. People.
Do you remember when
"Is
you
he
used
gonna
to
touch
date that guy in the that worked at the gas station?
I never.
You remember that?
Oh, brother.
Who was his? What was his name? I don't think he
Folks
worked at the
home,
gas station. I think
this
he
is
met
like-
him behind the gas station.
This is a bit he does because he knows it makes me uncomfortable, and I'm not getting uncomfortable because I have a problem with anyone gay. It's because it's not the truth.
No. You just dated him. It wasn't sexual.
It was. We were friends. Okay. Nothing happened.
You worked at a
sexual.
gas station.
I mean, who didn't work at a gas station in what was it, the 80s? Like, look, I'm not saying that story's true. It's just come on, Rob.
You
like,
saw the gas. You worked at the gas station. And you saw the RoboCop cartoon at the gas station.
Oh well, I was I was like 12 and I worked at a gas station.
You worked
with
at a
my
gas
mom.
station at
My
12.
mom owned a gas station with my dad, and
What was it called?
Joe
Gas.
Zarco. It was actually called Joe Zarco. It was in
Joe
Turlock.
Zarco.
Yeah. And I would watch that RoboCop cartoon because I would sit on the ground so the customers couldn't see me, and I would watch X-Men and RoboCop cartoon.
Where was the television?
It was like down by the ground. It was on the ground.
It was on the ground.
Yeah.
You sat on the ground.
See, that's the Abed you should be afraid of. He
Oh.
would have corona because he's on the ground.
That's
He's not
true.
washing his hands.
Okay. Well, hopefully we won't meet him because.
Well, what's crazy is,
you.
yeah, my mom, I think I was 12. I had to clean the bathroom of vomit because someone threw up in the bathroom. And I'll never forget how that was so much torture, because I can't look at, if someone throws up, I'll throw up, basically.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the very first episode of Schrab Home Video. If you have any comments, good or bad, I'm not going to Reddit because it's garbage. I would rather you go to #SchrabPod and just write anything, and maybe we'll answer some questions or ignore you. But
Will they do that live? Can they write questions live and you'll answer them?
maybe, I don't know. We're figuring this out. The
Because
reason
that would be a cool trick.
The reason that this is free is because we haven't figured it out yet. We were going to do this at the Dynasty typewriter.
Yeah, what happened there?
Well, it's we shouldn't be it's too many people in one room. And
But if it's under 250, it's fine.
I didn't want to take the chance.
Listen to you. I'm going to sell over 250 tickets.
Don't we have a special guest?
Yes, we do have a special guest, Rob. I'm glad you brought that up because this man that's coming up, he
He's
is the next guest, or
so
he is the
special.
first guest.
He's one of my favorite people in the world.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm so glad he's here tonight. Do you
That's-
want to?
Yeah, let's introduce him. And here he is, everybody. Spencer Crittenden. And it's, look at him. I see shoes. I see pants.
I see
A beard.
underpants.
Here he is, everybody, the first guest. You know, you don't want
We
to say.
didn't
Oh,
reframe
yeah.
that camera really well. I didn't notice. We're just looking at your
What was
stomach.
happening?
Hey, Spencer.
Were you looking at my stomach?
I was looking at your stomach. How you doing, Spencer? Thank you for being my very first guest on my very first podcast ever. Thank you.
Yeah, it's so kind of you to inflict me with all this chaos and like make me the fall guy. Like
Right.
it would be a shame to have like Jack Black on soaking all this shit up, right?
Right.
You know Jack Black, right?
I
That's
know
not
him.
just a random.
I know. He
okay.
follows me on Instagram.
Do you
You
know
guys
Jack
don't-
Black, Abed?
Well, I've met him once, and he liked my Converse. He thought they were
Sation?
nice because they have the chocolate color.
Spencer, how's life after post Harmontown?
Oh, it's bad.
Really? Why?
Oh,
Seriously
yeah.
bad? I'm
Just so bad.
Are you being facetious?
No.
Why is it bad?
There's a plague. Like it's
Oh,
like
you're
we're
talking
not.
about, but I mean, okay. Let's ignore the plague and the state of the world. But
You're
like,
wearing gloves.
Ignore the plague, Rob.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, you have these gloves. I don't think you're ignoring it.
Do you miss doing the weekly podcast?
Yeah, I was actually really worried. It was kind of cool that this is in a garage because I was definitely sure that I was like going to go up on stage and totally eat shit and not be able to handle it. Like,
That's one
Why?
of his tricks. He eats shit on stage.
yeah,
Like
Why
you
would-
actually eat it.
but normally I can handle it.
Are you?
Yeah, I know,
Are
yeah.
you? Were you would be nervous to be on a show?
Yeah,
or is
no,
it
I'm
is it nervous?
freaked out right now.
Why?
What do you mean? Why?
I think
well,
I'm more
There's
scared
one-
than you
We have
because
4 cameras. There's probably $20,000 of equipment right here.
but I would be more nervous than him because
Nobody
Rob,
likes you.
would
Yeah,
be?
Rob is like you
Well,
should have seen him
are you?
earlier. Well, he yells at me a lot, but I deal with it.
Well,
'cause-
are you nervous to be here?
well, no.
Well, then you wouldn't be more nervous than me.
Well, see, I meant I should be
Oh, okay,
nervous,
okay.
but I'm not. I should have clarified. You're
Mhm.
right.
Hey, do you
Touche.
remember when Abed used to date that guy that worked at the gas station?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Thank you,
All right,
Spencer.
That was
Thank
before.
you. Oh boy, if you would have
Uh,
jumped on that one, wow,
Fucking forget about it.
hell
So-
yeah.
so
See,
what
he's,
do you-
he's a good guest.
So you are somebody I admire and like quite a bit, and I haven't seen you since. I think when was it? Have we seen each other since the last episode of Harmontown?
Did we meet up once? I feel like maybe we met up once, but I don't know.
But
Maybe
we don't
not.
we don't really hang out enough.
No, we go on maybe 2 or 3 every 2 or 3 months. We go on a little trip together.
Yeah, we go get pot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we take a
Really,
little
you guys
trip.
are pot buddies,
No,
but you just said you get pot with him.
we do. We're like pot getting buddies. Like
Oh,
we don't
okay.
like smoke and hang out and like talk
Wait a
about.
We
minute.
did-
Wait a minute. Wait. You guys get the pot, but you don't actually smoke together.
No, we get the pot and we shake hands and leave.
That's weird.
We don't
Not even
shake
on the way to the
hands.
store.
We don't shake hands anymore because of Corona.
Right. We
Right.
do the foot tap.
Yeah, foot tap, head bump.
See, this Corona stuff's
Head
confusing.
bump. That's
'cause I
a
don't-
good one.
Yeah, head bump.
I
I like
like know.
that.
How do you do a head bump?
I mean, just bump heads,
Just like
you
that,
know, like
okay.
football players do. Do you have any new projects? What have you been working on since?
I don't know. I don't know that I want to talk about.
Oh,
it.
we don't have. We can
Yeah, I
go-
mean, he's probably got a project that he can't mention.
Well, there's problems. There's projects that I can mention, but I'm just worried.
That if
Don't
he
wanna-
mentions them, they won't happen. I
No,
understand.
it's more like the opposite. But
Oh, if you mention them, that they will happen.
yeah,
feel free to
um,
butt in at any time. Just
yeah.
feel free.
I'm
Feel free
clarifying.
to
I mean,
just go right ahead. Just feel free. Feel free.
Feel
just-
right.
Feel free to speak up.
Well, I'm trying to help you out, brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
Trying to help this guy.
Yeah.
Get no praise.
So you okay? Give me
one thing I have been
Yeah.
trying to do is me and two guys, I guess 3 guys now, because we got a camera. We're trying to film us cooking food that we don't know how to cook, and we just argue about how to do it instead of like looking anything up. So we tried to make croquettes, chicken croquettes.
Uh-huh.
And let me
Classic.
tell you, I did not know how to make those.
Did you eat the aftermath?
Yeah, they were fine, but they just weren't that's the thing. It's like if you don't know what you're making, you're just making something and then calling it something else, you know?
Seems like everything just kind of turns into a scramble.
Yeah, or like a casserole, yeah.
But like an egg scramble or like a everybody scramble, everybody leave the room. There's two kinds of scramble. Plain.
You want to wait? You want to wait for the plane?
Well, maybe because you've got to digest what I said. It wasn't.
We're
funny.
streaming live, but can we hold for playing?
We hope for like,
Just like 2 minutes.
what, Spencer? So part of this podcast is like talking about what inspires you, what makes you kind of like get excited. Because I, as a person in the winter of my life, the third act of my life, am broken. I find myself very uninspired by anything, and finding it very. Thank you.
Yeah, I was want to clap for the third act.
And what I want to do is have people on the show and go, do you ever feel like that? How do you feel like getting out of that? And what just yeah, help me.
Help him.
I'm a mess.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for somebody whose mojo is so dried up?
No, I mean, I think you've done stuff and I haven't really. So it's like,
But you're more likable.
we can talk about that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
That's deep.
One thing I like to do is like try and think about other people's feelings and then accommodate them and like try and play around them in ways that don't create conflicts, you know?
Okay, that's a good thing.
I think it makes me likable, but it causes other problems that maybe you don't have.
Okay.
This is bad. We should talk about the inspiration.
Okay, let's talk about the inspiration.
Okay.
Let's talk about the inspiration.
So you're kind of one of my heroes because you came to Harmontown with the thing in your mind, with the thought, I'm going to play Dungeons and Dragons with Dan. Am I correct in this story?
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of.
I listened to the podcast and then I was like, you know, he talks about on the show that he goes and talks to people before the show. Like he used to walk the line and greet people and stuff. And I was like, there's
like an MC.
Basically like an MC. Does an MC do that?
Well, MC friendly.
Oh,
that.
so like MC friendly.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a rapper.
Why don't you tell his story?
Well, I'm just.
Why
hey,
did you just tell it for him?
No,
What,
it's
what do
fine.
you want me to do, Rob? Am I-
Listen to him. He's talking as a guest.
It's good.
Shut the fuck up for 2 seconds.
You see,
Okay.
this is what Jack Black is missing.
Right.
No, I was just saying that like Danny would walk the line like MC friendly, and it was like a cool thing for the audience who didn't, doesn't always talk to famous people and stuff. And I was like, there's maybe a chance I could go to this thing and play D&D with these guys. And then that did happen.
Well, then that's interesting because that was the origin of the D&D on Harmontown.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so,
That is why that's interesting.
yeah.
No, it is
why-
interesting. I mean, well, look.
And
No,
how
I
did you
agree.
feel that,
Yeah.
that night? Were you like going, holy shit? Like what now? There's like, how did you think you made that happen? Was it just like creative visualization, or did you kind of sit front and center? Did you have anything rehearsed? What made
I was
you-
in a rut. I was in a bad, not doing great in life and not having a fun time. And one of the things I was doing to like try and deal with that is one of the ways I think about luck is like if you imagine Family Circus, the comic Family Circus, where there's the dotted line going around the house.
right?
Oh, yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, that like you can kind of imagine everywhere you go is like that, right?
Yeah, no, he's right. I know what he's talking about.
And so like then when you cross paths with someone or something lucky, like that is what luck is. But so what that means is like basically the best you can do to improve your luck is just try and make it so your path has intersections with good opportunities and stuff. And so I was like, well, you never go outside and you never go to parties or shows or something. Like, so if you want to actually try and get out of the rut, you should try and, make your own luck and try and, do things, because you're not going to run into a lucky lottery ticket or something sitting inside. You have to go out and, intersect with people.
Was that
and
the
things.
first Harmontown episode you saw live?
Yeah. I had listened to it, but there was only a couple episodes out when I started listening.
Right. So so your advice is is proximity, is getting close to the thing that you want to be a part of, right?
Yeah,
That's
because-
the first step, right?
But that's also what a stalker does.
Yeah. Well, and they get lucky.
Be quiet.
No, I'm just trying to colorize and have some It is what a stalker
He's
does.
trying to connect the dots for the listener.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Thank
mean, if
you.
he was a psychopath, you wouldn't
Right.
want him getting close.
but you,
But I would.
but do you,
Right,
do
but
you,
you're not a psychopath.
do you
Well, even if I
believe,
was.
do you believe in like creative visualization and meditating and laws of attraction and things like that?
Yeah, but just to the extent that you can't do something that you're not thinking about. Like if I never think about like climbing a hill, I'll never do it. But if I think about climbing the hill, it's just, that becomes something possible. But like I think like you visualize just what you can do to kind of increase your odds. So maybe that's, I don't know. Like
So if you want to
networking.
climb a hill, you got to get to the first step is going to the hill or
Well,
thinking about it.
Because you have to believe it's something that's possible. If you don't think it's something that's possible, you can't do it. And I just am realizing this sounds like this is like the guy who got really lucky and is like, I just did everything, work your bootstraps and shit. It'll all work out. And I don't mean that. And it won't work out.
Do you know that guy? He's cool.
The bootstraps guy?
Yeah. He would be a good guest, Ron.
Max Bootstrap?
Max Bootstrap. That's his name.
Is that what? I think he's doing a bit.
I like.
He's not doing a bit. This is really what he's like.
What?
This is what you're like.
So who's this bootstrap guy you're talking about?
Well, he sounds like an up and he does what you do. He pays attention and runs around.
Hey, we got
That's
a lot of people like talking to the Schrab Pod.
Oh, let's talk to them.
Hashtag Nolan. Do we have any questions or?
Yeah, a lot of people are chiming in.
Okay,
Can we hear Nolan? I bet we can hear him okay.
Yeah.
just shout it and
And
I'll
we'll
repeat
repeat.
anything.
So, at Whiskey Juicekin asks Rob, what D&D
Uh-oh.
class do you usually play, and are you in a game right now?
I am not in a D. But let me ask the Dungeon Master.
Thank you.
What class would you consider me as a person?
A bard.
That means he slays or
I
hustles
slay.
drinks.
I'm slaying right now with this podcast.
Right? He's a drink bartender guy.
No, a bard. A bard is like a music man, kind of.
Oh,
An
right.
entertainer.
Storyteller. Yeah.
Storyteller.
What
nice.
what would you call it? Chaotic evil? What would you call? What is that alignment?
Yeah. Alignment. I'd
What-
say chaotic evil. Yeah.
I'm chaotic evil, which means I never really. This is why I never played D&D because I don't understand like what it means. What does it mean? Tell me.
Chaotic means that you don't obey the laws and you just don't care because you're like, I just want to stick my finger in the eye of the man.
Yeah.
And
Well,
evil
Rob's
is
a
like
little
just a
bit.
bad
Let him
person.
finish talking.
No, that was a good time. I think that was a good time to chime
I'm saying
in. Not a good time to drink water.
He's not as chaotic as you might think. He's very ordered.
All right, let's get another question. Are there any questions for Abed? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Is your brain put in backwards? Are you
Possibly
dumb for a living?
Not a lot for Abed.
Oh, good.
One for Rob.
Right.
Robed.
This is from, I can't say
That's your
this.
pair name, Robed.
No, he's Schrabed.
Very glad to have more Schrab in my life. Could you possibly tell us anything about
Schrab.
Big Ant movie? It's an idea which has always interested me.
Oh, okay. Well, Big Ant Movie was Dan and I's first script that we wrote together. When we came out here back in 1998, Oliver Stone had optioned Scud the Disposable Assassin to be made into a feature film. And
All right, Oliver Stone.
we wanted to write the screenplay, but they said, no, screenwriters write screenplays. You're a comic book
Ooh,
guy.
that must have hurt.
Yeah, it did. It sucked. So we were like, how do we become screenwriters?
Yeah, how do you?
And they said, well, first you write a spec script. So at the time, like Men in Black was out.
I saw the drive-in. Yeah,
Good. Independence Day was out. And I thought,
I didn't
okay,
see that in the drive-in.
Okay, cool.
Bad.
Thank you. So like there was like this kind of resurgence of 50s B movies, but done at the huge level. So I thought the next thing that was going to happen was going to be giant insects because then
Like in Outer Limits.
like feature wise, like them, the giant mantis and things. I thought, okay, well that lends itself to like CG and things. I think that could be kind of cool. So I said, let's make a comedic version of them. Only we'll call it Big Ant Movie. Bam.
The movie then.
Please interrupt.
People might not know that's a movie.
Okay. Big Ant Movie, BAM for short. And
Like the movie Bam.
like the movie BAM. and it still is a really fun script. I've been wanting to turn it into a comic book or
Wait, so you guys wrote it and then what happened?
it, and Oliver Stone read it because our agent at the time was like meeting with not Oliver Stone, Robert Zemeckis.
Oh, Robert
Zemeckis.
Big difference.
Robert Zemeckis read was meeting with our agent, who wasn't our agent yet, and he said, "Do you have anybody that can do anything with giant insects?" And she said, "Well, I got a screenplay called Big Ant Movie in my briefcase." And I said, "Well, let me take a look at it."
Was this before Matinee? It was after Matinee.
I think it was after. I think it was after. But they read it, loved it. They had a meeting with us. We pitched them a ton of ideas, and one of them was Monster House, and that's how we became screenwriters.
Oh yeah, and he loved Monster House.
He loved the pitch. Yeah.
Wow.
It was like a 2-minute pitch.
There's that story
Monster
about people.
House.
There's that story about people going to pitch something.
I butchered that story,
and then
by the way.
something else they buy. You know what I mean? It's like you hear that story all the time.
Are you on a different show?
No,
now?
I'm adding a little bit of flavor to what you
Color
said.
commentary.
Yeah, it's color. There you go. Thank you.
So
Perfect.
Spencer, what is are you playing D&D? Are you playing Shadowrun? Are you doing any games?
No. It's actually hard work to do that and
to enjoy it.
Well, yeah. Well, it's hard work even if you don't enjoy it. And then if you don't, it's like, Jesus Christ, I just did all this work and then it sucked.
Well, it's like if you make a movie, they say
It's like
that
if you make a live streaming podcast.
there you go. That's a better analogy.
Do you prefer being a dungeon master or a player?
I would say I prefer being a player, but then when I do play, it sucks. And then I'm like, I hate playing. And
Because you don't have a good dungeon master?
I think I'm just a control freak.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, okay.
I've played more recently, and every time I'm like, what the fuck? And even if it's really fun, I'm having fun. I'm just like, I don't know. I can't handle this.
Would you, are you going to be doing another Harmon Quest season?
I don't know. Right now, VRV is not doing it. So that's an exclusive maybe. So you can unsubscribe from VRV.
All right.
Let them feel the pain.
When you going to do would you ever do a Dungeons and Dragons podcast or a role-playing podcast?
Yeah, I would do one. It's a lot of work and it's a crowded field and there's really good players in that field. I listen to a podcast called Rude Tales of Magic right now, and it's so good that anytime I think about doing something, I'm like, well, it's going to be way worse than this.
That's why.
And then why do it?
Yeah, that's why I didn't do a podcast for a long time, because what am I going to do that hasn't been done to death already?
Right.
Right. But I think you're different because I played D&D with you off camera, and you make it fun.
I think I've gotten worse since then.
Really?
I think I've lost my ability.
Wait a minute. You played a game? I thought you hate games.
Yeah.
But I wanted to hang out with him.
Oh, well,
fun.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Because he did what he hated to hang out with you.
Right. That's
true that. That's some true living.
So,
it's touching.
So
it's some true living.
So, but the thing about, I was on a D&D podcast, and unfortunately I had to exit it just because I got too busy. But the thing that, like that podcast and me growing up with my brother Jeff and playing Dungeons and Dragons, it always got
shout out to Jeff Schrab.
It always got into like, can you do that? I don't know. Let's consult the books, blah, 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 roll the dice, arguments. And it wasn't, all the fun was gone. But with you would go, yeah, that happens. And then we move on, and you have a sense of timing.
We move on. That's every D&D game needs that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought that would get a bigger response. No,
I agree, because especially if you're doing a podcast, nobody wants to hear you talk about this, that, or technically you could do it or whatever. You just like go, no, let's think about the viewer and let's just move on to the fun. You understand story structure better than most dungeon masters.
Well, it's just more like, it's truly just fun. Like, I don't like getting in the rules, and it doesn't matter. Like, if it mattered, that would be one thing, but it really doesn't. Yeah. There's never been a time where it's like, oh, it was so good that we spent that extra 12 minutes arguing and looking shit up. Like, it's just, why? I don't know.
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Are you a big Edgar Allan Poe fan?
No, I like him. Okay, but
I
I'm
am.
not a big fan.
Okay. Edgar Allan Poe wrote Sinbad of the Seven Seas. Did you know that?
He did?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And
not know that.
they made a movie about it. Let's watch some found crap. See if this gets flagged. Let me know if it gets flagged.
Step forward and kneel. I said kneel.
You'll pay for this, you filthy rat. I'm gonna kill you, Jafar!
The sound of the princess's heart breaking reached the great Sinbad in his cell, and he knew he must think of a way to rescue her and her beloved Prince Ali.
I need your help. Come here. Nervous, huh? I know where you're coming from. People hating you and all that. As far as I'm concerned, it all began with that story of Eve. And when they want dirty work done, they really take advantage of you. Like that evil, slimy wizard up there.
Even as the fair Princess Alina spoke, the mighty Sinbad had discovered a way to enlist the aid of his friends, the snakes, to help him escape his tomb-like dungeon.
They say you have a terrible temper. I like to see them living in the dark, crawling around all day. Here, come here. Come here. Hey, be nice. Attaboy.
Will Sinbad save them, Mommy?
Shh! You must be patient and wait and see what Sinbad and his friends, the snakes, will do.
Hey, don't worry. I'm not gonna hurt you.
Say he weighs over 200 pounds.
Survey says.
Ding.
They brought the stream down.
They brought the stream down.
Copyright.
Copyright. Okay. So are we live right now or are we dead?
We're dead.
Oh.
Do you want to tweet out and put hashtag SchrabPod that they brought it? We're gonna bring the stream back up if possible.
That's
Okay,
funny.
well, there goes that dream.
So this is like a renegade podcast because you're
I
trying
guess
to.
so.